Hello, NBA fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA The Week That Was. Today, we will be continuing with the sixth team on our list, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs weren't expected to have a good year this year. However, there were one or two positives here or there that will definitely be discussed in this episode. Without further ado, let's get right into the next episode of the NBA The Week That Was. Prior to the season, the Cavs really didn't have high expectations set for them. It was a second year without LeBron, and we all saw in that first year without LeBron in the 2018-2019 season, things weren't good in Cleveland. They only had Kevin Love and Colin Sexton, and that won't cut it in the NBA. However, their horrible record in 2018-2019 gave them a good pick in the 2019 draft, from which they took Darius Garland with the fifth pick. While I believe Garland is a good player, he really wasn't a fit for Cleveland. They already had a scoring first point guard in Colin Sexton, and they just drafted another scoring first point guard with Darius Garland. I feel that the Cavs went with talent over need, thinking we don't have that many good players right now. Let's just go with what's best right now, rather than we don't have a center or we don't have a shooting guard. They just went with the best player possible, and who knows, that might work out, but I don't have too high hopes for a Garland-Sexton pairing in the future. However, they did get a really good steal with Kevin Porter Jr. in the late first round. Porter Jr. is a great scorer and should have been a lottery pick. However, he did have some off-the-court issues at USC, which led to his draft stock falling, which ended up as a bonus for Cleveland. So with Sexton, Garland, and Porter, they do have a decent young core, which did develop this year. Sexton has turned into a solid 20-point scorer per night, which is always crucial for any team. If Cleveland can acquire that definitive first option, Sexton can be the perfect complement to him. He will always be that number 2 option who can always give you those solid 15 to 20 points every single night, which is crucial for any team's offense. Porter Jr. also developed well. He's a raw prospect, and if Cleveland coaches him right, you never know, he'll turn out to be a good role player for Cleveland. Garland, he played okay. He had his nights, but most of the time he was just below average. So while Sexton and Porter Jr. do give Cleveland hope for the future, Garland still needs to be developed and could potentially, in my opinion, could be traded. I don't see, like I said, a Sexton-Garland pairing moving forward. They're either going to go with Garland or they're going to stay with Sexton. However, they did acquire Andre Drummond at the trade deadline for an absolute steal. I think they just traded John Henson, Brandon Knight, and a second-round pick for Andre Drummond, a consistent 15 rebound guy. He's a great defensive player, a great rim runner. So if they can get Andre Drummond to stick around, I really like that pairing of Colin Sexton, Kevin Porter Jr., and Andre Drummond moving forward. However, as I explicitly mentioned before, all wasn't good in Cleveland this year. It's always important to have good relations within the team. Players should like players, they should like playing with each other. However, it is just as important for players to have a good relationship with the coach, and that was not the case in Cleveland this year. They hired John Bellin, the former coach of Michigan University, as their head coach. They thought, he's a coach who's coach college kids. We have a young team. It should be a good pairing. Let me tell you, it was not good in Cleveland with the coach this year. Bellin actually he got removed from the head coach spot by the end of the year. And he's in some other role in the organization, but he's not the head coach anymore. The players didn't respect Bellin. Bellin wasn't respected by the players. It was just a bad situation in Cleveland. The players, there were multiple videos on social media, the players just blatantly disrespecting their coach, giving statements to the media. There was no relations between the coach and the players, which is so crucial for a successful NBA team. That was one of the big issues in Cleveland this year, but another issue was just a lack of experience. Besides Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson, even Tristan Thompson, he's just an average player. Kevin Love used to be really good, but now he's fallen off. Colin Sexton, Porter Jr., they need time. Garland needs time. Chetty Osman, all their young players, they need more time to develop. It's a similar situation to, as I said before in the Charlotte episode and the Atlanta episode. All these teams need time to develop. They're young teams, so it makes sense why they weren't successful this year. However, moving forward, if these pieces don't develop, and as I said before, I don't see Garland as a player in Cleveland for the future. However, it's crucial for these players to develop in Cleveland, and looking how they played this season, things were okay. I mean, every player had their nights here or there, But overall, as a team, they played below average. So in all cases, offense, defense, it was just a below average team. So if there's something that the Cleveland Cavaliers need to fix for next year, get a better head coach and just give your players time to develop. It's okay if you lose more games for a year or so. You're gonna get another good draft pick. You have a good draft pick this year. If you can find the right players to keep moving forward, you can't keep all your young players. Find the right ones, develop them well, get a good coach to develop them well, and Cleveland has good prospects for the future then. And with that, we wrap up the 6th episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly series here on the NBA, the week that was. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you're new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. And as always, if you want to have any feedback, whether it's a compliment or just something for me to work on, please leave in the comment section below. All your feedback is what helps me grow on this channel. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of the NBA, the week that was. See ya.